Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Columbia. We're here to entertain and enlighten. Here we are. Yes.
Yes, we are.
Which part do you want?
I actually entertain, enlighten, and educate.
All three.
Yes.
Whenever offered a choice between A and B, take them both and add C. This is the secret of his success. If you haven't guessed it already, this is AHAH, a human among humans. I'm with one of my very favorite humans. And we hope in watching the show that your humanity will grow. And you'll discover that we're all, when we're really in touch with our humanity, we're in touch with our divinity. Is that true?
Yes.
Wow.
That must be true. Anything less than that is not true.
Wow, I'm getting great agreement here. We're going to be looking at a Walt Whitman poem, one of his most famous poems. Michael's going to read it, I'm going to read it, and then we will talk about it. Take it away, Michael.
Okay. This is from Song of Myself, which was from it was from Leaves of Grass, right?
Yes.
And this is one of his long, Leaves of Grass was, I think, his life's work, I think.
Yes.
One of his life's work. It started out when he first published in his 30s, I'm guessing. It started out, about this size, and over the years it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Until so it went through many iterations as he aged and grew in wisdom and in poetic prowess. So anyway, this is a Song of Myself, which is from, so these are selections from Song of Myself, which is
one of the great poems of
right.
Leaves of Grass.
So that's the short introduction to Walt Whitman, who was one of two who ushered in the modern era in poetry, and the other was Emily Dickinson. They wrote completely differently, very different in so many ways, but both of them really had a voice that had never been heard before, a kind of voice that had never been heard before, and really ushered in the era of modern poetry.
Especially American poetry.
Yes, for sure.
Did you know that Emily was offered an opportunity to invite Walt to visit her?
I did not know.
And she refused. He was too bawdy.
Too bawdy?
Yep. No, he's too bawdy for me.
Well, what we see here in Walt Whitman is something that I don't think anybody was doing at the time, which is like these long-ranging, unrhymed lines,
Yep.
whereas Dickinson's was very tightly crafted, like every syllable was like hammered into place.
Every dash.
Yes. So very different
But they
styles
were
of
both very
writing.
lonely. She put her poetry in a closet. And we had about 8 poems published in her lifetime. I wonder if we would have had a different American. That should be a great play.
What?
Walt Visits Emily.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, I think that didn't Oscar Wilde visited Walt?
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
When Walt was quite aged and Oscar Wilde was really coming into his own.
They were both gay, but you weren't allowed in those days
Right.
to be gay. Maybe they kissed.
There's a play in that too.
Yes. Oh my.
There actually might be a play about that. I have this vague recollection. Anyway, this is a long rambling introduction to Song of Myself, or parts of Song of Myself, which is part of Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. I celebrate myself and sing myself, and what I assume, you shall assume. For every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you.
Oh, Michael.
I loaf and invite my soul. I lean and loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. My tongue, every atom of my blood, born here from parents, born here from parents the same, and their parents the same. I, now 37 years old, in perfect health, begin, hoping to cease, not until death. Creeds and schools in abeyance, retiring back a while, sufficed at what they are, but never forgotten. I harbor for good or bad.
Gee.
I permit to speak at every hazard. Nature without check.
Wow.
With original energy. Different section of the poem. A child said, "What is the grass?" Fetching it to me with full hands. How could I answer the child? I do not know what it is any more than he. I guess it must be the flag of my disposition, out of hopeful green stuff woven. Or I guess it is the handkerchief of the Lord,
Gee.
a scented gift and remembrancer designedly dropped, bearing the owner's name some way in the corners, that we may see and remark and say, whose?
Wow.
Or I guess the grass is itself a child, the produced babe of the vegetation. Or I guess it is a uniform hieroglyphic, and it means sprouting alike in broad zones and narrow zones, growing among black folks as well as white. I give them the same, receive them the same. And now it seems to me the beautiful uncut hair of graves. Tenderly will I use you, curling grass. It may be you transpire from the breasts of young men. It may be, if I had known them, I would have loved them. It may be you are from old people, or from offspring taken out of their mother's laps. This grass is very dark to be from the white heads of old mothers, darker than the colorless beards of old men, dark to come from under the faint red roofs of mouths. Oh, I perceive after so many uttering tongues, and I perceive they do not come from the red roofs of mouths for nothing. I wish I could translate the hints about dead young men and women, and the hints about old men and mothers, and the offspring taken soon out of their laps. What do you think has become of the young and old men? And what do you think has become of the women and children? They are alive and well somewhere. The smallest sprout shows there is really no death. And if ever there was, it led forward life, and does not wait at the end to arrest it, and ceased the moment life appeared. All goes onward and outward. Nothing collapses, and to die is different from what anyone supposed, and luckier.
Wow. Good luck.
So why is that one of your favorite poems?
Boy, that's a hard question.
It promises much. It promises eternity. It promises what many of the great faith traditions promise.
And I read it before I was in any way describe myself as spiritual or religious. I was introduced in college, and it's so cheerful but really embracing death. It's not like just everything sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, children die, from their mother's laps.
Yeah.
And
young men, old men.
Yep.
Everyone dies. But he says here, they are alive and well somewhere.
Yes. And
he says here, the smallest sprout shows there really is no death.
Wow. So, I mean, if I took it in, which is, I probably love the way the words, the rhythm of it, because the rhythm of it is also, especially being very depressed.
It's galloping.
Yep. And it just keeps going on where like what he said, nothing collapses. The die is different, and there's fun at the end. The die is different from what anyone supposed,
And luckier.
And luckier. Wow. So
I believe that.
I do too.
If we're going to believe anything, why not believe that?
And we don't know what it is, but it's luckier. We
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good luck, everybody.
You hit the jackpot. You're dying. Boy, that would.
Well, when he says the smallest sprout shows there really is no death, the way to avoid dying then is to become the smallest sprout, is to become everything that is and is alive. For that to be our identity. And isn't that what Jesus, for example, said when he said, love your neighbor as yourself, that your neighbor is yourself.
Yes.
Your neighbor is not like yourself, your neighbor is you.
Well, I'm lucky I have you as my neighbor now. You
are pretty lucky.
You have a challenge. He's spiritually challenged at this moment.
It's easy for you, man.
Yes, I love that.
I got a lot of work ahead.
I love that. Well, what I'm going to do is read. I love your question, which I didn't. I just only had a beginning answer.
Well, what's my question?
Your question was, why do I love this?
Okay.
I'm slowly, and I'm going to just read part of it, and we'll discuss it. I'm slowly getting closer to really thinking this is really imagining grass when he's talking about grass. And just beginning to, the words just hypnotize me in a way. But if he talks about the dead, I'm now can allow. I'm sitting in a room with my brother, A.H.A.H. Friedman, and my brother's wife-to-be, and my mother's on a concrete slab, dead in a crematorium.
Are these in the same place or are these different places?
No, we're all sitting and talking, and she's there on a concrete slab.
Somewhere else?
No, there.
Oh, there.
We went to Florida when she died.
Okay.
And she looked somewhat peaceful. And we talked for an hour in the same room about anything like us. So now, and only now at this advanced young age, I can allow the images of things like that, because that's what Walt's talking about. The dead lapse, the lapse of mothers, and that I come from her lap. And I once gave my class an assignment when we read this, and I had a partner, my boss Jim Smith, to go out and pick a spear of grass and look at it. So I'm slowly getting what he's talking about, and it's quite something. I have flower pots on my roof. My neighbor has the most beautiful roof garden maybe anyone's ever had, heaven on earth. I have weeds growing in my flower pot. And I'm so happy in my better moments when I look at the grass. I have flower pots with grass growing in it. So I'm beginning to get some of this, and maybe reading it with you.
Well, one of the cool things about grass, and I'm talking about grass all over the world, is that I would bet you that 99.999% of every blade of grass no human has ever seen.
Wow.
It's probably even more than that.
And let alone looked at.
Yeah.
Good for Walt to observe. That's his heroic act, to observe, lean and loaf.
At his ease.
At his ease, and I've struggled against that depression. I think when I do these poems again and again, they slowly sink in. And
They're sort of like scripture.
yeah, I love.
They keep revealing
I
themselves.
love doing nothing, but I don't do nothing the way he does. I just lie under the covers and let my inner thoughts and feelings sort themselves out. But Walt would like me to take a walk and look at some grass. I don't do that. Not yet.
He would like you to take a walk and take a Walt.
And take a what?
A Walt.
He wants us to read, I feel this about my poetry too, in a different way. He wants us to read Leaves of Grass every year outside.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said
Okay.
that. He was unknown as a poet.
Not entirely unknown. He did write a review of his work,
yes.
and had it published.
Yes.
It was not anonymous, but it was under a nom de plume. And
Yes.
he wrote a glowing review of his own work.
Yes, and he wasn't entirely unknown, that's true. And Emerson wrote him a postcard saying, "You're the poet I've been looking for, the poet for America." And Walt carried that postcard, because that was like hearing from, the poet laureate of our country now,
Right.
or Robert Pinsky saying, "Michael Mack, you are the poet we've been waiting for."
Who is our poet laureate now? I'm embarrassed to say that I'm not sure, and I forget and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Simultaneously,
Yeah.
Pinsky is
No
no longer poet laureate.
But Walt carried it with him, and then he published it, and Emerson was furious.
Oh,
And when Emerson
Yeah.
made an anthology of American poets,
he did not include
didn't
Whitman.
include Walt, even though they had taken a walk around Beacon Hill
Right.
together here. That's sad, Ralph. Anyway, so
I
that's,
should have waited till Emerson died and then published it.
yes. Okay, so I'm just going to read. These are in sections. I'll just read the first section, which is 4 separate paragraphs, and then we'll speak about them if we have anything to say.
All right.
Song of myself. I celebrate myself and sing myself. And what I assume, you shall assume. For every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you.
May I share a thought?
Yes, please.
I'm picking up on the word assume. In Catholic doctrine, there's a very important event, the Assumption of Mary, and this doctrine professes that Mary was assumed into heaven, that her body did not taste death, that she was taken up body and soul into heaven.
Oh, I didn't know this. Wow.
Now, what is not Catholic doctrine is that I think that that's true for all of us personally. And I think that that our bodies and souls will be assumed into heaven.
Wow.
In ways that we cannot conceive of. So that's my own personal take, and that's the way that I can relate most easily to that mystery of Assumption.
I have a doctor friend who promised me he's teaching me Qigong, which is to bring earth energy into our body and open to sky or heaven energy and have it circulate and move us. And it feels so reviving. And I asked him that when I'm pronounced dead, for him to come by and see if he can revive me.
Bring you back?
Yes, he said.
Rise,
He
Lazarus!
said he would. He said we didn't think Medicare would cover it, but he would do it anyway, which is really
Medicare wouldn't cover the resurrection?
No, probably not. No.
Yeah. But he's going to do it.
He said he's younger than me, so he
Okay.
said he would.
Okay.
I loaf and invite my soul. I lean and loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. That's a little different from the Iliad, right? Fighting
Right.
for victory.
Right.
A great victory, Columbia. Columbia's good at this too. I lean and loaf at my. It's not so easy to do this though. It sounds easy, you know. I don't do it.
Yeah.
I do not do it.
You're not a good loafer? Not a good leaner?
I loaf in my bed, but that's different with my eyes closed. I love doing that. I once found myself saying, geez, I could do this forever, and realized
That's what death is.
so.
Well, I guess you're going to be well practiced.
Yes, I would, but I would like to do it this way. I don't. I lean and loaf at my ease, observing it. Maybe we'll do it once, Michael. My tongue. Well, every atom of my blood, born here from parents, born here from parents the same, and their parents the same.
Now, what does that mean? Born here from parents the same.
I think it means that what the heart of it is like the Bible and all that Terah begot Abram, begot Isaac, and so on.
Uh-huh.
It's the crucial part here, I'm guessing, for him, is that they just begot us. And so we're in touch with them. Do you remember, maybe not in Angels in America, one of the main characters, when he was really ill from AIDS, all of a sudden a parade of the ancestors came to him. And one of them was gay and had a conversation with him. This man's name was Pryor. So it could be, I can feel my parents now, my mother and father, Charles, after telling a story about them, I feel their presence. I asked a friend of mine who married someone who's converted to Judaism what religion he had. He was from Hong Kong. He said, I worship my parents, invite them to help me when I meet them. And I said, that sounds great. So
Now, would he actually worship the parents? So I've heard of ancestor worship.
Yes.
But what does that, I'd be curious to know more about what that means.
Yes, I'm not sure you shouldn't use that word. But they have shrines, it's close.
Oh, sure. So certainly I can see them honoring or respecting or giving homage to, but...
And what does worship mean?
What does worship? Well, worship is to... worship and adore, I think, would be very close.
Well, adore is easy to adore my parents. You know, once I get through the fact that they almost destroyed my life, I can adore them. They gave me life.
If we had a dictionary, we could unpack the Latin a little bit.
Adore and worship. We can try, but we might even do that for next week.
But it seems to me it's that adoration, worship, is a higher level of veneration. You know, we can venerate anyone or anything who does something noble or beautiful or good. But to worship or adore is like to take it to the ultimate level.
And there's different. I mean, I can adore my dear friend Michelle Anscow in my better moments. I can say I adore. We say that.
Now, do you adore them or do you adore some quality within them?
I think we can say I adore you. This is an old song before your time. A, you're adorable. B, you're so beautiful. C, you're the cutie of my charm.
Yeah, you're right. It is before my time.
Fortunately, aren't you happy to have adored?
Somewhere in that 16-year span, I guess.
Yeah.
You're 76, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do I adore you?
Me?
Yes.
Do you adore me?
Do I? I actually, if I really thought of it, it's beyond. I don't worship you, though.
I can adore, I mean, when I think about people, I cannot bring myself to adore a person. I might adore a quality within them.
Wow, I adore can you say a sentence that adores them? Would you really do that? You can't say I adore you to a baby?
No.
Wow.
No, I
See,
can't.
He's very precise.
I mean, I was told by a girlfriend many years ago, a girlfriend who had gone off to work in Spain during the summer, and I was all anxious. Does she still love me? Does she still? I kept that largely to myself. But she wrote me a postcard and said, "I adore you, my angel."
Wow.
I loved hearing it.
Oh, you did?
I did. I loved hearing it.
Oh, so we answered the question.
No, we didn't.
Could you say it? Could maybe you?
She said it, and I was very grateful that she said it.
You can't say it back yet.
I don't think that I can. I can
try.
adore only God or the expression of God. I can adore that.
Wouldn't
which
God want you to adore all of His and her?
I don't know. I don't presume to know.
We could ask.
Ask.
Well, I've done this on the show. God, would you like us to adore everybody? I hear yes. Yay! I do.
Well, that was simple for you.
Okay, well, we have to say goodbye.
I don't even know God's name.
We have to.
Oh, uh-oh. Well, we're going to pick this up again in 3 minutes if you want to hang on, if you're at the edge of your seats.
Bless you. We adore you. I can't say we. I adore you for watching. Columbia.
But how can you adore? So you're adoring something in order to get something
No,
back.
I'm getting it back. I adore you for watching us.
No, you have to adore not for any return.
1 minute, 1 second.